Hare Krishna. Nice,
Krishna.
beautiful background, Mataji. Jai Sitaram.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavats Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. And thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vardhana Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, and all the glories to the assembled devotees. This is Manjari Leela Devi Dasi from Naperville. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Manjari Mataji, Dandavats Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, and all Vaishnavas, please accept my obeisances. This is Param Pavani Shama Devi Dasi from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna Param Pavani Mataji, Dandavats Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vardhana Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Aditi Devi Dasi in Canada.
Hare Krishna Aditi Mataji, Dandavats Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vardhana Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajis. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devi Dasi from Nala.
Hare Krishna Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavats Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vardhana Mataji, Danvat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from College Station, Texas.
Hare Krishna Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavats Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vardhana Mataji, Dandavats Pranam. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shama Gauri Devi Dasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna Shama Gauri Mataji, Dandavats Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna. Is anybody else would like to introduce themselves?
Yeah, we'll finish the introduction of the speaker, Mataji.
Sure, Mataji. Welcoming all of you to the Bhakti Sanga Conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhuji. Prabhuji is going to enlighten us on the topic of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 7th Canto, Chapter 6, verse number 25. I'll hand out the call to Sureswar Shyam Prabhuji to give brief introduction of His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavats Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Here is a brief introduction about Prabhuji. His Grace Gauranga Darshan Das, a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, is Associate Dean of Academics at Bhakti Vedanta Vidyapeeth Research Center at Govardhan Eco Village. He is a member of ISKCON Board of Examinations. He holds a master's degree from Indian Institute of Sciences, Bangalore. He teaches Bhagavad Gita, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Vaishnava character courses at GEV and at several places in India. Prabhuji has written several books including Gita Subodhini, Bhagavata Subodhini, Chaitanya Subodhini, Disapproved but not disowned, Bhagavat Pravaha, Gita, the Jewel Box. He has special fondness for reciting and meditating on scriptural verses and has compiled many shloka books, namely Gita Ratnamala, Bhagavat Ratnamala, Chaitanya Ratnamala, and Bhagavata Tattvamala. He also runs a free monthly e-magazine called Bhagavata Pradipika and regularly writes educational and devotional articles that also appear in the Back to Godhead magazine international and multiple language editions, Indian language editions. He is also known for his lucid spiritual talks with captivating visuals and also presentations that give a bird's eye view of an entire book or a section. So far, he has delivered over 4,500 hours of spiritual discourses. He has guided several students in their Shastik study. He also oversees the deity worship at Govardhan Eco Village. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Back to you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Sureswar Shyam Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving brief introduction. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Gauranga Darshan Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving your valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening on the topic of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And I'll hand over the call to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. I think Prabhuji is on the call, right, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, maybe he needs a couple of minutes, I'm thinking, because he's not on video.
Oh, okay. Can we continue chanting for a couple of minutes, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, please.
No, Shrivadaya Krishna Shrivadaya Srimad Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Ram. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving your valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening on the topic of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. I'll hand over the call to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Can I see the shloka that we need to discuss today?
Yes, Prabhuji. Mataji is sharing, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Okay. I can see it after offering prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I offer my respectful obeisances to all the devotees who assembled for today's session. Today we are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 7, chapter number 6, text number 25. Tushte cha tatra kimalabhyamananta adye kim tairgunam vyatikarad ihaye swasiddha dharmadayah kimagune na chakangshitena Saram Jusham Charanayor Upagayatam Nah. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Nothing is unobtainable for devotees who have satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the cause of all causes, the original source of everything. The Lord is the reservoir of unlimited spiritual qualities. For devotees, therefore, who are transcendental to the material modes of material nature, what is the use of following the principles of religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, which are all automatically obtainable under the influence of the modes of nature? We devotees always glorify the lotus feet of the Lord, and therefore we need not ask for anything in terms of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Purport. In an advanced civilization, people are eager to be religious, to be economically well situated, to satisfy their senses to the fullest extent, and at last to attain liberation. However, these are not to be magnified as desirable. Indeed, for a devotee, these are all very easily available. Bilvamangal Thakur said, Muktihi swayam mukulitanjali sevate sman dharmartha kama gatayah samaya pratikshaha. Liberation always stands at the door of a devotee, ready to carry out his orders. Material advancement is in religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. Simply wait to serve a devotee at the first opportunity. A devotee is already in a transcendental position. He does not need further qualifications to be liberated. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Sagunan Samatityaitan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. A devotee is transcendental to the actions and reactions of the three modes of nature, material nature, because he is situated on the Brahman platform. Prahlad Maharaj said, Agudena cha kankshitena. If one is engaged in the transcendental loving service of the lotus feet of the Lord, he does not need anything in terms of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. In Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, therefore, in the beginning of this transcendental literature, it is said, Dharma projita kaitavotra. Dharma, artha, kama, and moksha are kaitava, false and unnecessary. Nirmatsaranam, persons who are completely transcendental to the material activities of separateness, who make no distinction between mine and yours, but who simply engage in the devotional service of the Lord, are actually fit to accept Bhagavata Dharma, Dharman Bhagavatan Iha, because they are Nirmatsara, not jealous of anyone. They want to make others devotees, even their enemies. In this regard, Srila Madhvacharya remarks, Kankshante mokshagam api sukham nakangshato yatha. Devotees are not desirous of any material happiness, including the happiness derived from liberation. This is called Anya Abhilashita Sunyam, Gnana Karmadi Anavritam. Karmis desire material happiness and Jnanis desire liberation. But a devotee does not desire anything. He is simply satisfied by rendering transcendental loving service at the lotus feet of the Lord and glorifying Him everywhere by preaching, which is his life and soul. Hare Krishna. Such a beautiful shloka and an amazing purport by Srila Prabhupada. Here, the shloka says that a devotee has absolutely no interest in dharmartha kama moksha. And Prabhupada quotes a very, very relevant and fitting reference in the purport. Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayonmulanam Śrīmad-Bhāgavate Mahamuni-krite kim va parairishvaraha sadyo hridi avarudhyatetra kritibhi susrushubhistakshanat. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is a transcendental literature. Generally, the four goals of human life are considered to be dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Dharma, performing so many rituals and following certain virtues and standards and rules and regulations, only to get artha. to get money. Economic development, Prabhupada says. And artha is constantly being utilized to fulfill one's calm desires. So many desires. A conditioned soul has unlimited desires, material desires. But the conditioned souls think that these material desires will give me happiness, but actually they lead to distress. As Kunti Mata says in the first canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Bhavesmin klishyamananam avidya kamakarmabhihi shravanasmaranarhani karishyan iti kechana. She said that Bhavesmin klishyamananam, O Lord, many people in this material world undergo so many kleshas, means distresses, suffering. Why? Avidya kama karma bhihi. Avidya means they undergo a lot of, they have a lot of ignorance. And because of ignorance, material ignorance, they have kama, material desires. And because they have material desires, that will lead to karma, material action, to fulfill those desires. And in their attempts to fulfill the material desires, while doing their karma, they undergo a lot of klesha, difficulties. Avidya, kama, karma, klesha. This is the cycle. Cycle of repeated birth and death. Ignorance induces desires, desires lead to actions, actions lead to frustrations and sufferings, miseries. This is the situation of a conditioned soul in this material world. So he says, Kunti Mata says that Krishna has appeared on this planet to destroy this attachment that a living entity has towards material actions and induce an inspiration in them to perform Sravana, Smarana, Arhani. Sravana, hearing about Krishna. Smarana, remembering Krishna. Arhani means offering worship to Krishna. You give up this avidya, kama, karma, klesha. Take up Sravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam. Then you will be relieved from all suffering. So people chase behind their material desires for the fulfillment of their material desires, and they eventually end up suffering, not happiness. So this is a very awkward situation for the conditioned soul. Conditioned soul undergoes such severe amount of suffering, all because of the undue attachment one has towards their material desires. Now, Prabhupada says that actually devotees are those people who are so attached to the lotus feet of the Lord and have absolutely no interest in dharmartha kama moksha. Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam rejects this kaitava dharma right in the beginning. So this dharma projita kaitavotra paramo, this shloka is the second shloka of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So right in the second shloka, it's rejected. Okay. First shloka is just an invocation shloka where Krishna's glories are described. Second shloka describes the glories of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam in that dharma projita kaitavo, this ordinary practice of dharma that leads to the fulfillment of kama, that gives you artha, and that will frustrate you just to think about impersonal kind of moksha, that is rejected in Bhagavatam. And a devotee always wants to render service to the Lord. Prabhupada writes, Sukadev, Prahlad Maharaj says in this current shloka, Tushte tatra kimalabhyamananta adye kimtair gunavyatikarat iha ye swasiddhaha. If a devotee is practicing devotional service, dedicating oneself to the service of the Lord, where is the possibility that any of the desires of devotees are unfulfilled? Basically, the shloka very clearly, emphatically declares that whatever desires a devotee has are automatically fulfilled by Krishna's grace. And what is the desire of a devotee? Only to serve Krishna. And whatever is required to render that service to Krishna is automatically provided by the devotee, provided to the devotee. And one who is performing bhakti is not deprived of any material results, if at all they are in need. Like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phala pratishtam atyeti tatsarva vidam vidhitva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam. What one gets by Vedic study, performing sacrifices, yajnas, tapassu chaiva, doing so many austerities, daneshu, giving charity, daneshu yat punya phala pratishtam, one can attain a lot of pious credits by performing all these kinds of activities. But atyeti tat sarvamidam viditva, devotee is in a position greater than this. Devotee is not deprived of these so-called material desires one may get by following all these processes. But devotee gets much more than what these people can get. By following Vedas and doing yajna, dana, tapa, karma, etc., whatever people get, devotees get all that plus much more than that. Therefore, devotees are not interested in any material benedictions, boons. We have this example of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj offered prayers to Narasimhadev. Then Lord Narasimhadev said, I am very pleased with you, I am pacified. Now you can ask any boon that you want. Then Prahlad said, Oh Lord, what boon? You are offering to me. I don't want any boon. I'm not a businessman. I don't want to exchange my loving devotional service unto you for some material boons. You are my eternal master and I'm your eternal servant. I'm your selfless, unalloyed, unflinching servant and you are my eternal master. I don't want any boons. If at all you want to give me some boon, I ask for one thing. What is that? Let all the material desires in my heart be completely eradicated, vanquished. That's the desire I have. The desire is to destroy all the material desires and have only one desire of serving Krishna. That's the desire of a devotee. They don't want anything else. What about liberation? You don't want liberation from this material world? Then Prahlad says, of course, liberation is a part of your bhakti. When somebody is doing some bhakti, he is already in a liberated condition. As Prabhupada very beautifully quotes Bilvamangal Thakur in this current purport, Muktihi Swayam Mukilitanjali Sevate Sman Dharmartha Kama Gataya Samaya Pratikshaha. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, all these four Purusharthas are waiting when will a devotee embraces. Samaya Pratikshaha. Muktihi Swayam Mukulitanjali. Mukti Devi will fold her hands like this and says, can you please accept me? Hope you are Vaishnav. Then Vaishnav says, no, I don't want you. I am not interested in you. I have something better to relish. So you please stay away from my door. So a devotee completely rejects mukti. And by the way, devotees, when they reject mukti, it's not that they are doing it out of arrogance. Sometimes when somebody offers something to you and you say, I don't want it, it could be arrogance, or it could be a sense of self-sufficiency, or it could be lack of interest. But a better reason than all this is, a better reason to reject some offer is humility. I am not qualified for it. Devotee thinks that mukti, how can I accept mukti? I am not qualified for it. Mukti is like, there are 5 types of mukti, everybody knows. Salokya, Sarishti, Samipya, Sarupya, and Sayujya. Sayujya type of mukti devotee completely rejects because it's like staying away from a sense of individuality and merging in the Brahma Jyoti, the effulgence of the Lord. Devotees reject it. And devotees reject these 4 types of personal liberation also. Salokya, Sarishti, Samipya, Sarupya, Ikatvam Diyamanam na grihananti bina matsevanam janaha. Salokya means that type of liberation where a devotee stays in the same planet as the Lord. Samipya means in that same planet, like the Lord, a devotee stays very close to the Lord. Salokya means staying in the same planet. Samipya means staying right next to the Lord. Just because you are staying in the same planet, that does not mean you are right next to the Lord. So, Samipya Mukti is superior to Salokya Mukti, by the way. So, Salokya, Samipya. Sarishti means to have the same opulences like the Lord. Then Sayuja, we don't want. Salokya, Sarishti, Samipya, Sarupya, having the same form as the Lord. Now, in these 4 types of personal liberation, a devotee has access to the form of the Lord, opulences of the Lord, personal association of the Lord, or being in the same planet as the Lord. But a devotee feels that I'm not qualified for it. How can I accept same form like the Lord? How can I accept same opulences like the Lord? Am I qualified for it? No. I don't want all this. If there is seva, I will accept. If there is no seva, then I don't want. So devotees are interested in seva. Diyamanam na grihananti vina mat sevanam janaha. Even if the Lord personally comes and offers these 4 types of personal liberation to a devotee rejects them because, Lord, my focus is in service, not privileges. I don't want the privilege of being right next to you if I don't have a seva. Of course, someone who is right next to the Lord can have a seva also, but the sloka is said in the sense that devotee's focus is more on service rather than having the same form like the Lord, being in the same planet like the Lord, enjoying same opulences like the Lord. They have absolutely no interest in all this. And they reject mukti. Therefore, they reject mukti out of humility, not out of arrogance. Okay. Definitely, bhakti is better than mukti. The Lord gives bhakti very rarely and gives mukti very easily. Muktim dadati karhichit smana bhakti yogam. The Lord will give mukti so easily, but he rarely gives bhakti. And devotee accepts bhakti. Devotee wants that bhakti and not mukti. And devotee's rejection of mukti is in a mode of humility rather than arrogance. So this is the aspiration of a devotee. Liberation is waiting. When will devotee embrace me? The devotee has no mood to embrace. Even other opulences and great qualities like kirti, they wait for the devotee. When will devotee accept me? Devotee says, kirti, I don't want any kirti. I want to do kirtan of the Lord. I want to glorify the Lord. I don't want to be self-glorified. See the mode of a devotee. A frog that's making some sound, baka, 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 baka. Frogs make some sound, especially during monsoon season. They think that they have very good voice, and they are making so many sounds, boasting about their greatness, and they are expecting that everyone should understand how great they are, how great singers they are, whatever it may be. So somebody who is bragging about their own prowess, their own greatness, their own glories, is compared to a frog that's just croaking. What will the frog's croaking do? It invites the snake. So frog, by making that peculiar sound typical to any frog, is just accomplishing this result. What is that? Snake will know the address, GPS location of the frog. Frog is croaking from here. Snake will understand. Oh, snake, frog, you are here. I'm coming. My meal is there. So frog is just announcing that I'm ready to be eaten up by you, my dear snake. But frog's intention is everyone should know my glory. So we should not just be interested in glorifying oneself. We should not be so eager for self-glorification, self-aggrandizement, boasting or bragging about oneself. Or one may not literally do it, but there is an interest. There is some kind of enthusiasm. There is some kind of hidden desire. Let me be recognized by people. Let me be glorified and praised by people. Let my glories be sung. So there is some kind of desire for kirti and followers. Mahaprabhu says, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. Mahaprabhu rejects all these 4. So dhanam rejection may be easy. Sundarim rejection also may be easy. But janam rejection and kavitam rejection is difficult. They're more subtle. So those who have given up dhanam and sundarim are still attached to kavita and kirti and janam followers, right? So whether grossly or subtly, there's a desire for self-glorification. desire to be recognized as great people. Therefore, the scriptures several times say that this mentality for self-glorification, this desire, eagerness for self-glorification, keeps us in this material world for a longer time. So, do we want to be like frogs croaking about one's own glories, or should we be like hamsas, devotees, who are constantly interested in glorifying the Lord? They're constantly glorifying Krishna, Lord Hari, in the holy Dham of Vrindavan. Whether it's the Gopas or the Gopis or the cows or the calves, everybody's interested in glorifying Krishna and serving Krishna, not for one's own glory. So that's why devotees reject this opportunity to enjoy any kind of material facilities, including liberation, and they're interested in service of the Lord and glorification of the Lord. In the Vaikuntha, the Vishnu Parshadas, they are traveling in airplanes and they're glorifying the Lord. Vaimanika salalanaschritani shashvat gayanti yatra shamalakshapanani bhartuhu antarjalenu vikasan madhumadhavinam gandhena khandita dhiyopyanilam kshipantah. Vaimanika salalanaha. So all these Vaikuntha Vasis, they are accompanied by their lalanas. Lalana means their consorts. And Charitani Shashvat, they're constantly singing the glories of Lord Hari. Gayanti means they're singing the glories of Lord Hari. And when they're singing while traveling in their airplanes, the sweet fragrance of Madhu Madhavi flowers that are just blooming in the water reservoirs of Vaikuntha, that enters the nostrils of these great devotees. Then Gandhena Khandita Dhiyo Pyanilam Kshipantah, they condemn that kind of fragrance. Why is this fragrance coming and disturbing me in my glorification of Krishna? I don't want to be disturbed by this fragrance. I want to be engaged in glorification of Krishna undisturbed, without any deviations. That's the mood of a devotee, to constantly glorify the Lord. And glorification of the Lord is not done just by Vani, just by words. Glorification of the Lord is done by mind and body also. Body, mind, words, all three must be engaged in the glorification of the Lord. With time, how to glorify the Lord, you understand. Chanting the names of the Lord and Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela of the Lord. Okay. That is verbal glorification. And there is mental glorification also. With the mind, you are constantly meditating on Krishna's glories. Many times a conditioned soul meditates on one's own glories and desires how to expand one's own glories. But devotees constantly meditate on Krishna's glories. How glorious Krishna is, how beautiful Krishna is, how powerful Krishna is, how merciful Krishna is. Their thoughts are totally absorbed in Krishna, not something else. A conditioned soul, even while practicing sadhana bhakti also, an average immature neophyte devotee has a desire for self-glorification. And the meditation is constantly on how great I am and how do I prove my greatness. But if only we can transform that kind of meditation into meditation on Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, we can advance in bhakti much faster. So attention should not be sought for one's own self. Even if a devotee goes out and speaks in the middle of 100,000 lakhs of people, the devotee is visible to 1,000 people. But devotee is not interested in being visible in front of 1,000 people, but devotee is interested in glorifying Krishna amidst those 1,000 people and expanding the glories of Krishna. Let Krishna be more famous, and I am just a loudspeaker. Okay, what is loudspeaker's role? To amplify the voice, right? So similarly, what a devotee thinks is, I am like a loudspeaker, just immediately accepting the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, shlokas of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and then amplifying in a mic, so that Krishna's glories are are spread all over the universe. That's what a devotee is interested in. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriditam kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Bhuvi grinanti ye bhurida jana. Tava kathamritam, the real nectar, the real life-inducing force, life-inducing tool, whatever you may call, life-inducing medium, in the life of any living being is Krishna kathamritam. Tava kathamritam, the Tava is Krishna only. Tava means you, your. Who is speaking? Is gopis are speaking to Krishna. Tava kathamritam means Krishna kathamritam. Krishna kathamritam is the jivanam of all the people who are suffering in this material existence. Tapta jivanam. And that Krishna katha is of two types. Words spoken by Krishna, words spoken about Krishna. Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. That's our life and soul. Tapta jivanam. And tapta are of two types. Tapta means those are suffering. Two types of people are suffering. One type is the conditioned soul who suffers because of forgetfulness of Krishna, because of ignorance, because of ego, because of being influenced by Maya. They forget Krishna and they suffer. That's first type of suffering people. Second type is devotees, enlightened devotees, like gopis of Vrindavan. They suffer feelings of separation from Krishna. They are feeling separation from Krishna. That feeling of separation is their suffering. Whether you are tapta because of forgetfulness of Krishna or intense remembrance of Krishna, your jivanam is Krishna kathamritam only. Jivanam means life. For those who are suffering, they need some support, some life-inducing medium, and that is Krishna kathamrita. If you are rotting in the material existence in the cycle of birth and death, repeated birth and death, then that gives us life is Krishna kathamrita. So devotees are interested in this. And bhuvi grinanti ye bhurida jana. Those who are spreading Krishna katha are the most benevolent benefactors. By speaking Hari Katha, I am doing two things. Number one, purifying one's own filthy heart. When a devotee glorifies Lord Hari, devotee purifies one's own filthy heart. Devotee's heart is not filthy, but if that devotee happens to be a sadhaka bhakta and still a lot of shortcomings and impurities and anarthas are there, then by engaging one's tongue and body and mind in glorifying Krishna, whatever impurities and shortcomings are there in the heart are completely gone. Okay. So that glorification of Krishna should be seen as an opportunity for purification for one's own, purification of one's own contaminated heart, and also helping 10 other people to get connected to Krishna. That's what Krishna Katha is. But if that Krishna Katha, that process of glorifying Krishna, is seen as a medium to advertise one's own glories, we are basically missing the point. Isn't it? Prabhupada oftentimes criticizes. He says that why so many professional kathakars, the interest is to direct people towards oneself than towards Krishna. Actually, to glorify Krishna constantly and to not be interested in one's own self-glorification, but actually interested only in the glorification of Krishna, we need this virtue of humility. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sada harihi. How many hundreds and thousands of times we have heard and spoken this shloka? Let's go a little deep into it for a moment. Trinadapi sunichena means to be humbler than a blade of grass. If we have that quality of humility, then kirtaniya sada harihi, we will be able to glorify Lord Hari always. Kirtaniya sada hari is not just taking beads and chanting the names, extra rounds. That is definitely Kirtaniya sada hari. But Kirtaniya is glorification of Krishna. That can be done by chanting the names also, by singing the names also, by speaking Krishna's pastimes and qualities also. That is also Kirtan. When somebody is speaking Harikatha, pure Harikatha, that is also Kirtan, isn't it? Kirtaniya sada harihi. So when can somebody constantly glorify Krishna within one's mind, with one's mouth, and with one's actions? When I'm engaging myself in service to Krishna, that is glorification of Krishna. So when can a devotee be constantly engaged in glorification of Krishna with body, mind, and words, and glorification of not only Nam, Rupa, Guna, Lila. So Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila can be glorified with our body, mind, and words. That is Kirtana Sadahari. When will I be able to constantly do this? When I'm humble. When there is humility, then we will be able to constantly glorify Krishna. When there is no humility, there is a desire to glorify oneself. There is a desire, there is an eagerness to expand one's own glories. But when there is humility, there is eagerness to glorify Krishna. Kirtaniya Sadahari is possible. So devotees are interested in spreading the glories of Krishna and not in dharma, artha, kama, moksha. All that are not there within the list of a devotee, aspiration list of a devotee, desire list of a devotee. Desire is I want to do this service, I want to do that service. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, Sagunan samadityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. A devotee is transcendental to the actions and reactions of the three modes because a devotee is on the spiritual platform. So that's why there is no interest in dharma, artha, kama, moksha. And further, Prabhupada also comments on nirmatsarana. Nirmatsara means no enmity, no jealousy. When another devotee is flourishing, when another devotee is nicely progressing in bhakti, or when another devotee is getting some attention, extra blessings, extra privileges, what is our thought process? Are we genuinely rejoicing and are we genuinely feeling happy for the good fortune of the devotee to be able to render such service to Krishna? Or are we feeling insecure? My God, why this person has so much of opportunity and privilege? So these are some things that we need to meditate on to refine our character, to go deep into our own minds and hearts and discover the dust accumulated within the heart. Sometimes when we are cleaning our room, we may take a jhadu, take a broom and then just clean, and take a pocha and then just wipe, mop the floor. In just 1 or 2 minutes, it's over, or maybe 5 minutes it will take. But actually, when we just take out the bed, take out all the cupboards and the tables, behind that, there is a lot of dust accumulated, isn't it? So much of dust is accumulated. So that we call maha cleaning. When we are trying to clean that dust, it's called maha cleaning. Others is normal cleaning. Jhadu pocha maro in 5 minutes, it's done. That cleaning is done. So on a regular basis, some basic cleaning is done. Once in a while, maha cleaning is done. Like Gundicha Marjan, once in a year, it happens, right? Similarly, in our sadhakana bhakti also, when we are just chanting, hearing, and then doing some services, there's some kind of purification that we definitely experience. And we may think that we are progressing nicely, and we may be actually progressing also. But once in a while, we need to take out some time to reflect, to contemplate, to genuinely introspect, to identify, is there any dust deep within the corners of my heart, corners of my mind? Some anarthas are left out. What are gross anarthas like, meat eating or lust or anger? They are very grossly visible. But envy, pride, they are very subtle anarthas, very difficult. Envy and pride are on ego level. Lust and anger, they are like more on the level of body. And anger, of course, on the level of the mind. But pride and envy are on the ego level. So to identify those anarthas requires more meditation. If somebody is lusty physically, where they will be able to understand it immediately. If somebody is angry, everybody will understand very easily. But somebody is very envious and proud. For the person who is envious and proud to understand that there is some pride and envy within my heart, it takes some time. It requires deeper contemplation. It requires more humility and honesty to admit and accept that, yes, I have some envy in my heart. I am not Nirmatsara. If I am Nirmatsara, I should be able to understand Bhagavatam nicely. Why still my understanding of this episode of Bhagavatam, this prayer of Bhagavatam is so mediocre? Because there is Matsara. There is some envy in the heart. Envy blocks our understanding of Krishna, Krishna Tattva, Krishna Leela, Krishna Guna. Why did Krishna speak Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna? Because Arjuna is non-envious. Idam tute guhyatamam pravakshyam yanasuyavi. Because there is no asuya, there is no envy or hatred in the heart of Arjuna, Krishna revealed Bhagavad Gita to him. That non-envy was the qualification of Arjuna to understand Bhagavad Gita. And what's the qualification to understand Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam? Nirmatsaranam satam vedyam. Devotee is nirmatsara. Absolutely no envy towards anybody. When some other person is flourishing so nicely in their devotional service, there should not be any feeling of insecurity or envy. Then I will be able to understand Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. The genuine appreciation of the devotional advancement of another devotee facilitates our own advancement in bhakti. But envy and hatred and jealousy, seeing someone else's progress, will deprive us from understanding Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and progressing in bhakti. That's what Prabhupada is highlighting. Nirmatsara, devotees are freed from jealousy. In the Vaikuntha, even the plants are not envious of other plants. Even the birds are not envious of other birds or bumblebees. Everybody is engaged in some service to Krishna, and let us genuinely appreciate their service to Krishna, and let us not feel jealous or envious or insecure seeing their service. There should be happiness. As Narada Muni says in the 4th canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Gunadhikan mudam lipset anukrosham gunadhamat maitrim samanadan vichen natapai abhibhuyate. Guna adhikan mudam lipset. When you see a person who is more qualified than yourself, be happy. Be very happy. Don't feel envious, but feel that happiness within your heart because you get to see somebody who is better than you. You can learn from them. Guna adhikan mudam lipset. Second is anukrosham guna adhamat. When you see a person who is less qualified than you, don't oppress him. Don't suppress them. Don't dominate them. Don't think yourself so great. Generally, it's a great boost to one's ego to see a person who is less qualified than us. When an average sadhaka sees another devotee doing better than oneself, they feel a sense of insecurity and instability and discomfort. But when they see someone who is less qualified, they feel a sense of pride. The body language changes, the language changes, isn't it? So language and body language change when we are interacting with people who are less qualified or less experienced, less aged, less knowledgeable than us. But Bhagavatam recommends that anukrosham gunadhamat, be compassionate, be kind, be helpful to people who are not so experienced like you, not so knowledgeable like you. Don't oppress them or suppress them or dominate them. Then, when you see a person who is equally qualified like you, don't try to compete with them. But better you befriend them, make friendship with them. So this kind of mentality in the heart of a devotee makes one dear to the Lord and also keeps one's relationships with other devotees very reasonable and cordial and friendly. So this is required. Prabhupada writes, Nirmat Saranam, persons who are completely transcendental to the material activities of separateness, who make no distinction between mine and yours, but simply engage in devotional service, are actually fit to accept Bhagavata Dharma. Dharman Bhagavatan Iha. To be able to practice devotional service, is not an ordinary privilege. It's not a very easily attainable fortune. It requires great tapasya. It requires great blessings and mercy. And once we get that mercy and blessings, once we get that privileged opportunity to chant the holy names of Krishna and perform devotional service, we need to protect that opportunity. We need to treasure that opportunity and not lose it again. When will we lose that opportunity? When we become arrogant and become offensive to other devotees. When there is this offensive mentality, when there is too much of eagerness to identify the faults of other devotees rather than seeing their good side, then we will lose taste for devotional service. Our taste for Shravanam and Kirtan is stolen away from us. We'll be ripped off of taste for Shravanam and Kirtanam to the degree we are eager to point out faults in other devotees and look down upon them. Yeah, sometimes pointing out some fault is necessary to improve their standard of devotional service. To that degree, as a well-wisher, one can help others to improve. Then he may identify fault. Oh, this is wrong. This is wrong. You please rectify this. To that degree, it's required, but without an agenda, without an intention to help another devotee, without a desire to see them grow in their bhakti, if I just simply find a fault with another devotee, I am just exhibiting my pride. This is just an exhibition of pride. How I am better than the other person. It's exhibition of arrogance. It's exhibition of pride. Unnecessary finding of fault and gossiping will deprive us of taste in bhakti, taste in Shravanam and Kirtanam. Although we have mala in our hand, although we have time at our disposal, we won't be able to concentrate on the holy name of Krishna by properly utilizing that time because of lack of taste. And why there is lack of taste? There is offensive mentality. Namakari bahudhanya sarvashakti tatrarpita niyamita smaranena kala. Names are potent, we have that understanding. Names are merciful. Krishna's name is merciful. We have that understanding. We have that knowledge. So we are aware of the potency of holy name. We are aware of the merciful nature of the holy name. And holy name is accessible to us at all times. There is no restriction. You're traveling. You are traveling maybe 4 or 5 hours. On the way, you have so much of time to chant extra rounds. Or if not on beats, at least using your mind, you can just say Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. But the mind is thinking of 100 different things, not Krishna's names, not Krishna's glories. Why? Lack of taste, lack of fortune. Durdaivam idrishamiha janina anuraga. Because of my durdaivam, misfortune, there is no anuraga, there is no attraction towards the holy names or glorification of Krishna. Why? Because the durdaivam is caused by offensive mentality. Initially, when somebody is new in the process of devotional service, everything appears divine, amazing. Just the privilege of standing in a temple, taking darshan of the Lord, attending Tulsi Arati, or whatever, doing little service to some Vaishnav. Every opportunity is treasured. But as one progresses in time, as one spends some time in bhakti, in this process of bhakti, then the tendency to become familiar with several aspects of bhakti, and there's becoming contemptuous creeps in. Familiarity breeds contempt, as they say. So when we become more and more familiar with more and more aspects of devotional service, we tend to take them more and more cheaply, take them for granted. So taking things for granted, taking greatest privilege for granted is the greatest misfortune. one will not be able to understand how a great fortune it is to be able to chant, to be able to hear Harikatha, to be able to serve devotees. One may take all that for granted, and once devotional progress is hampered, one may feel a sense of dryness as time progresses. Therefore, to be very cautious and conscious in one's execution of sadhana and in one's dealings with other devotees, in one's emotion and consciousness, that's required for advancement in bhakti. Within our emotions, let there be only positivity, not so much negativity. Let there be love, let there be compassion, let there be gratitude, let there be satisfaction. And let envy, pride, greed not be there. So at emotion level, we need to reject all the negative emotions and embrace all positive emotions. That's the level of emotion. And at the level of action, let's take up only positive actions of Jihve kirtaya keshavam muraripum cheto bhaja sridharam savai manaha krishna padaravindayor vachamsi vaikuntha gunaru varnane harer mandira marjanadishu. So let me do pure actions, not impure actions. At action level also, there's a lot of purity and impurity. Not every action that we do, even while wearing tilak and dhoti, is a pure action. Many times there's a tendency to engage oneself in impure actions. Then interactions, emotion, action, and interaction. So in our interactions with other devotees, are we sufficiently respectful in our interactions, or we are sometimes getting disrespectful? And by the way, this interaction or the kind of dealings that we have with others is not just a matter of political correctness. It should be from heart. One may externally say thank you, but internally, does one have the emotion of gratitude? One may externally say, I'm impressed with you, but internally, is there an appreciation, genuine appreciation? So, the more we advance in bhakti, the more we need to bring in our emotions and actions and expressions together. What we express and what we think within should come closer. The gap between expressions and emotions should reduce as we advance in bhakti. Means hypocrisy levels should reduce. Honesty level should increase. Arrogance level should reduce. And humility level should increase. That's one litmus test for our advancement in bhakti. Do I really mean what I'm saying? Do I really appreciate this devotee, or I'm just doing it as a lip service? Or do I really intend to do this service, or I'm just doing it just for political correctness? Anyways, there is a lot of scope to analyze this, but in short, the gap between our emotions and expressions and actions should reduce. There should be sync. There should be harmony between our what we feel within and what we actually speak without, what we actually express outside. Of course, there may be some shortcomings in a genuine, sincere Vaishnava, sincere sadhaka, and one is genuinely desiring to overcome them. Over a period of time, they will be able to overcome them. But if there is no intention to rectify oneself, but one is just making a show that I am in a good position, that is called hypocrisy, and it requires a lot of time and effort for such people to purify themselves. And it's to be honest. There can be weaknesses. There can be hundreds of weaknesses. After all, we are conditioned souls rotting in this material existence for lifetimes together. It takes a lot of time for us to overcome certain shortcomings and anarthas and deep-rooted impressions that we are carrying. But there should be honesty and sincerity in overcoming them by taking shelter of pure devotional service. But if the tendency is to hide all the shortcomings and present oneself as a pure Vaishnava, great person, so that blocks one's progress. Let us not give up that that honesty of admitting one's shortcomings. Let us not be so eager to present ourselves as mature, great, elevated beings. That is humility. Okay, that is humility. When that humility has one aspect of honesty, actually admitting one's shortcomings. You may not put it in notice board and send a broadcast. I'm fallen in these 10 different ways or 100 different ways. You may not say that, but at least be honest to oneself. That is humility. Further, Prabhupada also writes in the purport towards end, devotees are not so desirous of any material happiness, including the happiness of liberation. Therefore, they are called Anya Abhilashita Shunyam. There is no other desire for mukti or for siddhi or for jnana, liberation. So, jnana karmadi anavritam. Devotee is completely devoid of jnana tendency and karma tendency. In bhakti, there is karma, definitely. That is mat karma krin mat paramo mat bhaktaha sangavarjitaha. Mat karma krin means doing devotional activities, not punya karma, papa karma, but bhakti karma. That karma is included in bhakti. Whatever jnana, definitely so much of jnana is required for bhakti, but that jnana should not cover bhakti. Jnana karmadi anavritam. Our Rupa Goswami did not say Anya Abhilashta Sunyam and Jnana Karmadi Sunyam. He said Jnana Karmadi Anavritam. Our Jnana tendency should not cover our bhakti. They should not overpower our bhakti. Anavritam. Sometimes in our pursuits to accumulate more and more knowledge, we may compromise on our devotional mood. We can acquire knowledge, but ultimately that knowledge should just act as an instrument of our bhakti. Instrument to enhance our bhakti. When I know more and more about Krishna, Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Leela, what am I intending to achieve by knowing more and more about Krishna? Love, devotion, bhakti. The objective is not to gather more and more information about Krishna, just to present oneself that I am so knowledgeable about so many scriptures about Krishna. I know this book, I know that book, I know this quality, I know that quality, I know this pastime, that pastime. That's fine. But all this knowledge of Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela should direct us to devotion, bhakti. That should enhance our love for Krishna. That should enhance our attraction towards Krishna. Thus, jnana should just be a subservient of bhakti. Jnana should just facilitate the enhancement of our bhakti and devotion. Jnana should just act as a catalyst for improving our bhava for Krishna. That's why Krishna said, Buddha bhava samanvita. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajanti mam Buddha bhava samanvita. Aham sarvasya prabhavo means everything emanated from Krishna. Mattah sarvam pravartate. Krishna is all pervading. Everything is dependent on Krishna. So that is the knowledge that we acquire from Shastra. But what's the next step? Once you understand it, once you know it, aham sarvasya prabho mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva, knowing this, bhajante mam, engage yourself in bhajan, service to Krishna. Don't just know Krishna, serve Krishna. That is bhajan, action. Then last line he says, Buddha bhava samanvitaha. Don't just sharpen your buddhi. Don't just increase your buddhi only. Intelligence. With your intelligence, you understand Krishna Tattva. You get a lot of knowledge and wisdom. But bhava, develop finer love for Krishna. Develop that feelings for Krishna. Buddha bhava samanvitaha. So, our connection with Krishna should not be just knowing more and more about Krishna. Sambandha Gyan is important, but Sambandha Gyan should lead to Prayojan. The prayojan is Krishna Prema, genuine loving devotion to Krishna. Oftentimes, when we are practicing bhakti also, we may be inspired or instigated or provoked or directed to pursue so many things under the umbrella of bhakti. But while doing so, we should not miss the main thing, that is love for Krishna. All our endeavor should be directed towards loving Krishna and serving Krishna, loving devotional service to Krishna. Whether we are acquiring knowledge and doing some services, or being prominent, or becoming recognized, whatever is happening within our life, everything should be directed towards attaining the final goal of Krishna. So whether we are preaching or distributing books or worshipping the deities, for example, somebody is worshipping the deities, tying the turban of Krishna, or decorating Srimati Radharani or Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Gauranga or Jagannathji, whoever. What is the ultimate objective of doing that service? To please Krishna, to serve Krishna, to enhance one's own relationship with Krishna, and to facilitate the loving absorption of so many devotees who are taking darshan of Krishna. That's the ultimate goal. But if the goal becomes that I should be recognized as a great artistic turban maker, as soon as people take darshan, they should just remember who is the person who dressed the deities today. Let's go to that person and congratulate him, thank him, appreciate him. That should be the aim of my dressing today. Then we are dressing our own false egos. We are not dressing Krishna. If the attempt is to attract people's attention towards oneself and not to Krishna, then we are not being servants. We are being masters. We are being enjoyers. We are being proprietors. We are being controllers. We are using Krishna's deity to become popular as a kalakar, as an artistic person. We may use Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam to become popular as a scholar or a philosopher or an orator. We may use some funds which are meant to be utilized in Krishna's service to be recognized as a great manager or leader. Isn't it? So the idea is to bring people's attention towards Krishna, not towards oneself. As long as that desire to direct people's attention, or even direct our own attention to our own selves, being so self-absorbed and self-obsessed, we need to understand we have a long, long way to go. Nowhere close to what we are supposed to achieve. Somehow the vibes in this material world, vibes presented by Maya, will constantly inspire us or instigate us or provoke us or misdirect us to do and think and speak about things that are not really beneficial for our advancement in bhakti, but they actually sidetrack us from bhakti. We need to safeguard our inspiration to serve Krishna and glorify Krishna, and not be sidetracked by these external temptations and allurements and desires. That we need to protect that inspiration to serve Krishna, to glorify Krishna. I'm not here to glorify myself. What will I do when somebody has a very small lifespan? In this chapter only, just few shlokas before, Prahlad Maharaj says, how much lifetime you have? 100 years. In that 100 years, first, 10, 20 years are gone in just figuring out what you are meant for. And last, few years are gone in old age problems. And half of the life is gone in sleeping and then eating and then bathing, etc. Doing the trivial things that we are supposed to do. How much time is left in this little 100-year span? How much time actually is left for doing sadhana, for serving Krishna? for developing that love for Krishna, for working on our ultimate, most important project. Very, very little time left. If that time I'm using for many other things other than developing my love for Krishna, then I'm missing this opportunity. Again, we may not get this human form of life. We may get, definitely, but why delay? That's the question. That's why Kapil Dev says, do Tivra Bhakti. Tivra Bhakti means intense Bhakti. Now in this room, light is glowing, bulb is glowing there. It's giving certain light. It's illuminating the room to some degree. But if I have to study in this corner of the room and the small light is glowing in that corner of the room, will I be able to read my book properly? It's very difficult. But if the light is having bigger wattage, more wattage, and it's illuminating the room sufficiently, then whichever corner I sit, I have a sufficient light to read the book. If the lamp is glowing very faintly, I don't have much opportunity to sit anywhere and read the book. But if the lamp has good intensity, then I can sit anywhere. Similarly, we may do bhakti, we may chant, we may serve, we may do deity worship, we may do many other things. But what is the intensity? The intensity is not only in quantity of our accomplishment, intensity is mainly there in the quality of our consciousness. Am I sufficiently intense in my absorption in chanting the holy names? Am I sufficiently focused and concentrated in my study of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam? Or doing any service that I am doing? It's the intensity that matters. If you say a 10 years period, how much understanding of bhakti one has developed, how much progress one has made. If you see, it all depends on how effectively they have utilized the available time in going deep. A multimillionaire also has 24 hours in a day. And someone who is not so successful in one's business, he also has only 24 hours in a day. But why did he become successful? That 24 hours is being utilized very nicely and effectively. Therefore, we should be smart enough, intelligent and diligent enough to utilize our available time and energy in intensifying our absorption in devotional service rather than being sidetracked by so many other distractions and temptations and allurements in this world. While pursuing so many objectives in this world, we may miss to attain what truly matters to us, what is truly beneficial to us. So with these few words, I'll conclude. I'm sorry if I'm speaking way beyond my realization. I'm sorry if I said anything inappropriate or like too high. I'm not at that level, definitely, but at least I'm trying. I'm desiring to try to be on the track, and I'm trying to remind myself. And somehow this forum asked me to speak, and I didn't plan what to speak. I spoke something. It's just my aspiration. I'm not on that level. If you think that I'm on that level, it's your problem, not my problem. I'm honestly admitting that I'm not at all on that level. But we need to come to that level. That much is sure. So I need your blessings and prayers so that I don't just speak these ideal principles, but I also make a sincere and humble and honest attempt to imbibe these principles and implement these principles and not waste the opportunity that I have received by the blessings of so many great souls. I seek your blessings. Hare Krishna. Granthara Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much for wonderful class, Prabhu. Very enlightening points. Everybody has the common problem, Prabhu, at this age. Ego in spiritual, Prabhu. Thank you so much. If anybody have any questions or realizations, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Thank you, Mataji. Sorry, I forgot to change my name. Sorry. Subramani is dead. It's Gauranga Darshan, Prabhu. as usual, so absorbing. And I will tell you some problems, like I give a lot of classes and all. Though we know there should be no glorification, but inside the heart there is somebody. So it was fantastic. Your point was so good. But today you really, I'm not just trying to glorify you. You put all the points which we go through in our regular practices, that give the class. It's not for our glorification. It is really from the heart intention to glorify Krishna. And Divya as a postman just brought from Prabhupada and just trying to, as you said, the loudspeaker, that is very correct. But there is always a small craving, desire. Badhiya tha, fantastic, superb. But how to get out of that, that is one point. And you were telling about that Tava Katha Amritam Tapta Jivanam, that you told about Bhubi Ginantiye Bhurida Jana. The last two you didn't complete. You were telling nicely about 2 lines.
Oh, okay. So I was saying that Krishna Katha is real Jivanam. Jivanam means life and soul of all those who are suffering in this world. Tapta. Tava Katha Amritam Tapta Jivanam. Kavi Bhiriditam Karma Shapaham. Kavi means poet, literally speaking. But here Kavi can also refer to an advanced devotee. So Kavi Bhiriditam. Even great Kavis and great transcendental poets are also glorifying Krishna, spreading Krishna Kathamrita. Kalmasha Apaham. And that Krishna Katha will completely destroy the Kalmasha, contamination within our hearts. Shravana Mangala, it's very auspicious to hear Krishna's name, Rupa Gunalila. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And this Harikatha, Krishna Katha is spread all over the world. The world filled with Krishna Katha, and that spiritual power that's there within this Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela must be spread everywhere, and it should be made accessible to everybody. And whoever is doing that is the most benevolent benefactor. Bhuvi Grinanti Bhurida Jana. In this world, whoever is chanting the glories of Krishna and spreading the glories of Krishna are the most benevolent benefactors, are the most munificent people in the entire creation.
Probably the munificent is only Srila Prabhupada, no? He glorified. All over the world, people started reading, and
whoever is doing that is glorious. And Prabhupada is definitely one of the most
hero,
glorious devotees.
But your books are very good, Prabhupada. I get so much that all the books you have written about Bhagavatam and all. 10th canto still not come now, Prabhu. 10th canto. Still you are making it?
Last year. First part came out last year. That has first chapters. I'll work on the remaining soon.
But you have put so much effort, Prabhu. It really helps us for a class, no? We read from that. Every sloka is just like 1 line. So summarizing is easy. So you are just like making the rice, khana, passenger, just to eat, that's all. Thank you so much, Prabhu. We are so thank you. And this Chaitanya Charitamrita also you made, Chaitanya Bhagavata. I saw your Chaitanya Charitamrita I got. Chaitanya Bhagavata you did not make, no? Is it the same, both?
No, Chaitanya Charitamrita is written by Kaviraj Goswami,
Yeah.
Krishnadas Kaviraj.
But is the same meaning, or that's why you didn't write, or you're going to write? Chaitanya Bhagavata also you're going to make some halwa for...
Let's repeat Bhagavatam first. Hare.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. If I've done any mistake, please forgive me.
Hari.
Thank you so much. Padma Mataji, please unmute yourself and go ahead, Mataji.
Can you hear me, Mataji? Hare Krishna,
Yes,
Hare.
yes.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhu. Thank you so much for a wonderful class, Prabhu. I wanted to ask you one question about, you mentioned about not having taste when you have not abradhas or like some enmity, envy and pride or something, or offense to devotees. I see that, as you said, in the beginning of the days, you will have so much enthusiasm and do all these things. But as you grow, you feel more content. I feel that is happening to me, but I don't know that if I made any aparadhas or offenses or anything, but the taste is not there. Though, as you said, read 5-6 of the time is there, you can chant. I wanted to, it is there, and I think about Krishna, but the intensity, the purity, the level that I used to do before is not there. So I see that the progress is not there. How would we know where is the problem and how to correct and go forward, Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Sometimes we may not be able to specifically identify what caused this lack of taste, but the process of increasing the taste is to continuously chant the holy names. I don't have taste for chanting holy name for whatever reason. Let me keep on chanting. One day taste will manifest. It's like jaundice patient. Prabhupada gives this example. Someone who has jaundice, they may not be able to relish or taste sugarcane juice. But the solution is to constantly drink sugarcane juice. Keep on drinking. One day you'll taste. So sometimes the mistake that we have made is very evident, self-evident. We will be able to figure out, yeah, this is the mistake. This is where I went wrong. But sometimes we may not be able to figure that out also. But whatever may be the cause, the consequence is lack of taste, and the solution is chanting the holy names. Continue the process of bhakti. Hear Harikatha. We may not have taste for Harikatha. Just continue to hear. Then it will come. Taste will come. And you're unable to chant, lack of taste, continue to chant. Taste will come. That's the solution. But if the reason is self-evident, and if you identify it and if you can rectify it, please do that. But if we are unable to figure out what went wrong, that's fine, no problem. Take the medicine. Continue to take the medicine. Where sometimes the diagnosis may not be understood by the patient. Patients may not be able to exactly figure out what went wrong. Only doctor can say. Doctor will see the X-ray like this, and he will say, "This is the problem. Take this medicine." And what doctor understands, patient cannot understand. Patient also will say the same X-ray. For a patient, all X-rays look same only. But for a doctor, different X-rays are different. Why? Because he has more knowledge. But what patient is supposed to do is take the medicine nicely. Whether they are able to understand all the reports, blood reports and ECG reports or CT scan reports or MRI reports or not, they should just follow the prescription given by the doctor. Sometimes patient may understand a little more. Sometimes patient may not be able to understand. That's all right. But medicine has to be taken. Hare Krishna. Next question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Then pranam. Thank you so very much, Prabhuji. Thank you for your association and the class. And Mataji is putting in the comments the shlokas that you're reciting, very helpful. Thank you so very much. Prabhu, my question is, yes, if we do offense or we realize that we do offense from our end, then yes, we will get to know the taste going down or not able to chant properly or so forth. Very true, Prabhu. I could clearly see that. But sometimes we might have to, in a congregation, though it's not a direct, it's not our action or words, we might have to hear and support the congregation. There might be, we are the third person, but we still have to support one or either, both of them, because we are a family. So at that time, it takes time for the resolution, right? It's not, if the solution is in the next day, it wouldn't be a big problem. But if the solution takes time, at that point of time, we would go into much of a turbulence. So we still have to go on the material level to help either of them. This is not a small problem, Prabhu. If it is a bigger problem, at that time when we do japa, you know, we might go down in the intensity and that is. So I would like to hear from you, Prabhu. Suggestion. Thank you.
Sometimes the intensity of the problem at hand may affect the intensity of our absorption in bhakti. And this happens in sadhaka level. When somebody is too anxious to get some service done. The Janmashtami, so much preparation has to be done. So much of service is there. Actually, on Janmashtami day, the quality of our prayer and service and chanting should increase. But many times we observe that on Janmashtami day, and there's too many services, the quality of rounds will go down because service anxiety is increasing. But once in a while, they are required because at sadhaka level we won't be able to maintain the intensity and absorption and consistency every day. But occasionally there could be some ups and downs. But we should just ensure that this phase should not be forever, for a longer time. We should not prolong that phase. Okay, Janmashtami preparation is there. There's 3 days, 4 days. There's intense service, lot of intense deity worship, or erecting pandal, prasadam serving to thousands of people. 10,000, 20,000, 40,000 people are coming. You have to organize prasadam, organize the queues, this and that. Sometimes there may be intense activity, intense action, because of which absorption may be a little compromised. But ultimately, that intense action is meant for Krishna, right? Therefore, it's understood. Krishna will not penalize us. But after that phase is over, we should immediately get back to normal. We should get back to our normal condition of service to Krishna and intensifying our absorption in Shravanam Kirtanam. That is required. Otherwise, if we just prolong it, like today I'm busy, therefore I'm a bit tired, I'm dozing off in japa. Tomorrow also it should not happen. What am I supposed to do to ensure that my tomorrow's japa is better than today's japa? Circumstantially, there may be little exhaustion or exertion, but later it can be better. We need to ensure that it becomes better. I hope that clarifies. Whoever has asked the question. One second.
Thank you, Mataji, for unmuting. Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji, that answers. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So, Priya Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji, with your question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for your class. It was very wonderful class, very enlightening. Prabhuji, I have one question. I have seen there are many anarthas in myself, like pride, envy, etc., arrogance. How to overcome these? What kind of a meditation to use in order to overcome these kind of anarthas? And what are the one answer is humility, but it should not be the false humility. It should come from the heart. So what is the technique to overcome these anarthas quickly?
Anarthopashamam sakshat bhakti yoga madhokshiji. Lokasya ajanato vidvams chakre satvata samhitam. Vyasdev has written Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam just so that our anarthas are eradicated. Anartha upasamam sakshat. You want upasama? Upasama means pacification or vanquishing, nullification, destruction of anarthas. It will happen by Bhakti Yoga Madhukshaji. Engage yourself in Bhakti. And people don't know that if I do Bhakti, anarthas will be cleared. Therefore, he wrote Bhagavatam. Therefore, Vyasadeva has written Bhagavatam, Chakre Satvata Samhitam. And by taking shelter of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, by hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam regularly, anarthas will go. What is the proof? Second chapter of Bhagavatam says, What I quoted now is 7th chapter Bhagavatam. Now I'll quote from 2nd chapter. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatyuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishthiki. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu, all abhadras, abhadras and arthas, they will be destroyed by nityam bhagavati sevaya, by regularly studying Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So we may want certain techniques or tips or strategies or ideas or solutions, but the ultimate solution is back to basics. Sravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam is the ultimate solution for all the problems. We should just do it with more concentration. Okay, I'm undergoing a lot of issues, some distractions, deviations. What am I supposed to do? Intensify study of Bhagavatam, hearing of Bhagavatam. That's the solution. Intensify chanting the holy names, back to basics. So the solution is same, but there is no new solution that is being offered. Solution is that only. And Nashta Prayesha Bhadresha Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, by regularly serving Bhagavata devotees and by regularly hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, then anarthas will be eradicated. It's easier said than done. It's a long process, but that's the solution. I hope that clarifies.
Yes, Prabhuji, it clarifies, but it's a long solution, long way to go.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for wonderful answer. So, Krishna Prabhu, do you have again? Do you want to go ahead with your question, Prabhu?
Yeah, Madhi, thank you. Gauranga Prabhu, now for me, morning I get up at 3 o'clock because I am attending this Anand Vrindavan Prabhu's class. The chanting is so good that I was chanting almost like 32 rounds from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. But I got a 8 o'clock Bhagavatam class to deliver in the morning. So I take the Bhagavatam and keep reading till 5:36. Then I am reducing my chanting time. What should I do? I think I should prioritize only chanting now. I should not read Bhagavatam now.
Both are equally powerful limbs, Bhagavatam and holy name. Both are powerful. It's not that chanting is more important. Bhagavatam reading is less important. You're chanting basic 16 rounds, right? At half an hour, you are giving that time to studying Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. That's fine.
But my quality of chanting is reducing, Prabhu. I'm chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Nam, 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 because I'm just going to finish it fast, no? So I should really not read in the morning Bhagavatam. I should read in the earlier night and then give the class. I should not quality time for the Brahma Mata. I should only chant, no? I just want your suggestion.
Whatever is practical for you, up to you. Earlier you said that I should be chanting more, I should not be reading Bhagavatam. I said that no. Reading Bhagavatam is also equally important.
Yeah, but not the quality.
When do you want to chant? When do you want to read? That you can decide as per your schedule.
But the quality should not be compromised. 16 rounds.
That's our aspiration.
Thank you.
We'll meet another time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much for a wonderful answer. Does anybody have any other questions or realizations you'd like to share? If nobody have any questions, just I have one question, Prabhuji. Do you have time, Prabhu?
Okay, you can ask.
Prabhu, you said while decorating Krishna or you're making some garlands, you said that we should not be pride. I mean, somebody has not to be pride. That's what not you have to look for. But sometimes, Prabhuji, suppose if I have Jagannath, I want to decorate him so nicely. Suppose his anniversary is coming, everybody has to come and see my Jagannath and to feel happy, Prabhu. That how it comes, Prabhuji. I mean, I'm not doing for my. We decorate kids. I mean, we see the kids how happy they are, Prabhu, when we put a nice dress or something. Yeah.
We should please Krishna with our exceptional service. It is said that we should decorate the bhoga plate in such a way decorate it so nicely and present all the food items so nicely that Krishna becomes very eager to eat. One day, Srimati Radharani made some very nice sweets and other food preparation for Krishna and decorated the plate so nicely, so beautiful. And when that plate is offered to Krishna, Krishna saw the plate and did not feel like eating only. My God, it is so nicely decorated. If I just take even one sweet from it, the arrangement of this plate made by Radharani will get disturbed. So I think I should not eat it. He's just so mesmerized that he's just glancing only. When Yashoda Mata said, if you keep on glancing at the plate only, if you are not eating, I will not call Radharani for next cooking. Then Krishna empty. So yes, we should do very wonderful decoration. We should nicely tie the turban of Jagannath ji, nicely decorate the bhoga plate or altar, and that should give happiness to Krishna. That should give happiness to all the devotees. But all that is done as a service to Krishna, not to prove our talent, not to show off our expertise. So just keep that self-obsession or self-absorption aside and absorb yourself in Krishna's service and use all your talent and time and energy and expertise and experience in Krishna's service to make it very effective, very relishable, very enjoyable for all the devotees. But the mood is to serve Krishna and not enjoy self-glorification. That's the point. When other devotees are they're appreciating us, oh, the nice decoration, you can feel happy for it. Oh, devotees are happy. Krishna is happy. So you can feel happy for it, not proud. That much if you take care, then you can do any amount of elaborate decoration. In the name of humility and simplicity, we need not minimize or decrease the standard of our devotional service. Let the standard be so high and let my consciousness be very humble. That's what we need to discuss. That's what we need to focus on. I hope that makes sense, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. I don't know if Krishna is happy or not, but somehow we feel happy. Okay, Jagannath is looking so good. That's what we look for, but
yes,
not
that happiness is required. Ultimately, all of us are looking for the happiness of rendering service to Krishna. Just ensure that happiness doesn't become pride and arrogance. Happiness remains as happiness only. That is sufficient. Ultimately, all our bhakti is meant to completely satisfy our heart. Yayatma suprasidati. That genuine happiness in service to Krishna is the aspiration of any devotee. Yayatma suprasidati. Satisfaction. But let that satisfaction not become arrogance or pride or overconfidence. Let that be satisfaction. In that satisfaction, there is gratitude for getting that opportunity to do that service. Being happy is not wrong. Being happy is required. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. If nobody have any questions or realization, can end the call here.
Yes, Mataji, I'll end. I need to move ahead now.
Yeah, sure. Let us pay obeisances to Prabhuji and all the
Vancha kalpa tarubhya
Patitana
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Gauranga
Radhe Radhe. Gauranga. Nityananda. Radhe.
Thank you, dear devotees, for joining. We'll close the for today.